Tonight, US doctors warn about GE food risks to our children, special Easter display from Bethlehem Church, and the Jazz Festival is in town. Kia ora and good evening. Welcome to Central News on TV Central for Friday, the 3rd of April. I'm Amanda Harper. In today's news, 1 in 2 children in America has a chronic disease. Paediatrician for over 30 years, Michelle Pero, has seen this rapid decline in children's health.
We're seeing increases now. Number 1, digestive disorders, abdominal pain, constipation, diarrhea, children whose food is coming up, immune dysfunction, chronic respiratory issues such as asthma, and kids with lots of ear infections, kids who have learning challenges such as autistic spectrum disorder and ADHD with problems of focus and attentivity in schools, kids with endocrine disorders, etc. And the list is long, and children may have more than one issue. They can have multiple health challenges.
Dr. Pero says this corroborates with the introduction of genetically engineered foods 20 years ago in the States and the increased use of pesticides. Travelling to New Zealand to host a series of talks with 2 other experts, Dr. Pero says she was expecting to warn New Zealanders about the potential risks to our children, but instead found similar situations.
But what I've learned and found is actually contrary to that you as well, by audience show of hands at our talk, saying, yes, our kids have profound issues with food allergies and gluten, and issues with school and learning, and asthma seem quite profound here in New Zealand, as well as something even more problematic are childhood cancers. And speaking to some of your people here, I've learned that there is a big problem with childhood cancer here in New Zealand. So this is profound concerning changes in our children's health. So this is something where we need to collaborate our data and share information in this global health world. That's what we're here to do.
Central News will have the full interview with Dr. Michelle Pero and Dr. Michael Antonio on Monday night. New Zealand's largest business startup competition, INZ48, is complete for another year. The winning team pitched an idea that gives people who can't afford to buy healthy food the chance to grow their own. Winning team Pacey & Co. told the crowd at the packed-out closing event on Sunday night that it was totally unexpected and none of the members knew each other before the weekend. Nick Pacey of Pacey & Co. says he found the experience invaluable and liked interacting with the mentors and being around so many like-minded people. The team's intention is to keep the momentum going and begin developing the business. 4 years in, INZ48 is the largest of its kind in New Zealand, with an ever-growing prize pool of $25,000 cash and a $10,000 business services on offer. INZ48 provides participants with massive learning experiences and all the necessary resources to launch quickly if they choose to build their company after the event. Event organisers Rachel Adams and Bianca Angel from Soda Inc. are already planning for a $50,000 cash prize for winners next year. The most innovative award for the night went to 10-4 Digital with their worldwide streaming platform called Crowd, and the Best Pitch award went to 4bit, who developed a social app called Raptor that uses a proprietary algorithm to enable easy and cost-effective gift giving. Rotorua Single Speed Society announced this week that everyone who enters by this Sunday will get free entry into the 100th Anniversary Anzac Single Speed Championships, held on April 26th this year. Other prizes include a one-off Surly Karate Monkey from NZO Ride Central, a woman's city cruiser bike from Ray White Real Estate, and a Rotorua experience from local tourism businesses. AgriVentures, Ogo, Let's Ride Polynesian Spa and Off-Roads NZ Raceline Karting. Society President Gary Sullivan says it's the least they can do. The event is also the only national championships with 2 automatic entries into the Single Speed World Championships in Japan later this year. Race organiser Ko Kitazawa was the first Japanese rider to race in a Single Speed Worlds when they were in Rotorua in 2010 and has fond memories of his week in town. People will be able to enter after April the 12th. Fastway Couriers is assisting a select number of local initiatives to collect and transport much needed items to a central location ready for onward shipping to Vanuatu. Scott Jennings, CEO at Fastway New Zealand, says they have seen the devastation facing the people of Vanuatu, and as a result, a few of their depots would like to help. Fastway Couriers is currently assisting a few initiatives by transporting these items. The Couriers in Waikato is calling for clothing items to be dropped off at their depot on Alice Street in Hamilton. The depot will then transport the clothing to Auckland for shipping by the Red Cross to Vanuatu. Quilts for Vanuatu is an initiative calling for New Zealanders all over the country to drop off their spare quilts at designated retail points by next Friday. Fastway Couriers will collect the quilts from participating retailers and transport them free of charge to a final meeting point, ready for packaging and shipping to the country. The initiative is the brainchild of Matamata local Carolyn Mason, who recognises the value and comfort a simple quilt could provide for those who have been affected by Cyclone Pam. She says the quilts will go some way to offer comfort and protect those who have had their lives turned upside down. Winter is coming and people may now find themselves on the ground with maybe only a tarpaulin for shelter. And now for our region's weather. Hamilton, it'll be cloudy periods with chance of a late shower, westerly developing. High of 23 and low of 13. Rest of the Waikato will be the same. Pairo 24-12, Matamata 21 high and 13, Te Awamutu 23 and 13, Tokorua 21 high and 13 low. And in the Bay of Plenty, Tauranga mainly fine with evening cloud, westerly breezes are developing. 24 high and 16 low. Te Puke, high of 21 and 15 low. And for the marine forecast, on the west coast, Raglan, a variable 10 knots, becoming northeasterly 15 knots early Saturday, changing late Saturday to a southwest of 20 knots and dying out on Sunday. Moderate southwest swell. High tide is at 11:30 at night. Bay of Plenty, westerly 15 knots, dying out on Sunday. High tide is at 8:35. Coming up in the show, short film Hacktivists. Welcome back to Central News. Hacktivists is a fictional short film about a group of hackers who seek to expose a corrupt trillion-dollar company, profiting from exploiting citizens and keeping them under complete control. Rachel Sutton talked to Andrew Garfield about what we can expect and when we can view it.
Probably the biggest challenge I faced during production is just being on a really limited budget, only funding this movie from what was in my bank account personally from the start. And throughout the movie, I decided to get a Kickstarter campaign going, although we didn't reach our full goal, so we didn't get the full amount. But luckily, one of the main sponsors gave a considerable donation to help fund the rest of the film and get it finished, luckily for that. But that's pretty much the biggest challenge, besides just scheduling around students and people who have jobs and using people who aren't necessarily getting paid, so I had to really work around their schedules, and that was quite a bit of a challenge.
So what's the support like for the film industry in Hamilton?
Well, I found a lot of great people to work with for this project. There's a lot of great actors here in Hamilton and a lot of great crew and people who are willing to devote their time to help out in something film related, which I found super helpful. I've got to say though, a lot of the places I've asked to film at, they could be a little more hospitable to filmmakers and catering to that kind of thing, but I did find some really great locations that have been really nice, and I'm thankful for that.
Now you own and run your own production company. What is involved with that?
Well, you see, I like making my own projects for entertainment and just to get my name out there to the world, but in my spare time, I do projects for other people as well. Making videos, I do photography as well, just post-production services, just to pay the bills, because it's hard doing this kind of thing full-time. And while I was producing Hacktivists, I had a bit of a job on the side, but now I'm trying to make this my full source of income. So really getting out there and doing things for clients as well as making entertaining short films.
What film festivals will you be releasing the film to?
I'm planning on releasing this to a wide range of festivals all over the world because it's a very international concept, and I really want to get it out there to as many people that can see it as possible. Definitely the New Zealand International Short Film Festival is one of the main ones. That and the Palm Springs International Short Film Festival, because that's where I'm from, and gotta rep the local film fest. But besides that, I'm planning on submitting it to Sydney, Berlin, Tribeca, Toronto, Sao Paulo. Just kind of gonna go global with it and see where it lands.
And when can we expect a public release date?
Public release dates, it's kind of hard to say at the moment because film festivals won't accept films that have been shown publicly. So once I've submitted it to all the ones that I really want to get it into that require that, I will be releasing it online for free public viewing for anyone, and that'll probably be around early 2016 if I had to estimate, but who knows.
We will keep you posted on this short film because it does sound really interesting. In our next story, Bethlehem Baptist Church in Tauranga has become renowned for its Easter Journey, a multimedia, multi-sensory walkthrough, theatre exhibition and experience. The event has become so big that it's become a biannual activity. Rachel Sutton finds out more.
The main reason is because we realise that Easter is a holiday that in New Zealand we celebrate, and we take off and we hang out with family, we eat Easter eggs and hot cross buns. But we wanted to bring focus into the real Easter journey and why we have Easter, which is the story of Jesus and what he did on the cross, and that he rose again. And we just want to bring people in, have the opportunity for them to come in and experience that as close as we can replicate with the resources that we have.
So can you give me an overview of Easter Journey?
Yeah, well, it is basically that. So it usually starts off with an old story from the Old Testament, and then it goes into the life and times of Jesus from his birth, when he travelled and witnessed, shared his love and what he wanted for the world, and then ultimately dying on the cross for us and then rising again.
Now you have a multimedia, multi-sensory walkthrough. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's just a feast for the senses. So we have sight, which is easy to do really, but we've got sound, you can probably hear in the background. We've got smells, we've got, you can touch things, you can pick things up, all of them going on, and it's just an absolute feast for the senses to go through.
Should we go take a look?
Absolutely, let's do that.
All right. Now, Sarah, you are set director 1 of 9. What does that involve exactly?
Okay, so me, I was pretty much hand-picked a team, and we got together, and that's my job, just coordinating, getting people together, having them over for meetings, sometimes breaking up fights when there's disagreements, reining in the creativity, sparking it up, and yeah, just allowing it to happen so that the people have got what they can do.
And what scene were you responsible for?
So I was responsible for the Garden of Eden scene, and we've just walked through the creation part, and then we just get into this Dr. Seuss Garden of Eden that it's just our imagination of what it might have looked like. Probably not, but there we go. It's just fun and alive and sparkling.
Now, are there any challenges that you've faced along the way, and what are they? How did you overcome them?
Absolutely. Well, we're working with volunteers, and so we really want to honour and respect their time and the lives that they've got, and we're asking them to help us with so much. And so I guess the biggest challenge is finding that balance of having people with a need that want to serve and that want to be a part of something like this, but respecting the fact that they're busy people. So giving them tasks that they can accomplish and feel successful and like, hey, I had a part in that, but also don't panic if you can't because you've got kids to pick up or to run to rugby or whatever the case may be.
And how many volunteers did you have working alongside you?
Yeah, so I did a count up not very long ago, and we reached 20, and that was just on this set alone. Yeah, there's other sets in the place, and it's just phenomenal. We couldn't do it without all our volunteers.
So what can we expect from the experience?
I think the astounding thing that happens is when you enter this place with this experience happening is that a mood comes in. You're just wrapped up in seeing everything, hearing everything, and you get a real sense that you're in it and you're part of it. And yeah, it's incredible to be a part of. When the lights go down and everything happens, it's a mood that kind of comes on.
Now, is there any particular show highlights or your favourite part of the show?
Yeah, I would have to say my part is actually probably a highlight for me, but every time we do the Easter journey, it's the crucifixion scene. It's seeing Jesus up on that cross and knowing that it's a real person, because we use real life actors up there and they go through hours of makeup and months of training. They grow beards, so they're partners and wives have to put up with this beard, but it's that dedication, but it's seeing them move and you get a real sense of what it must have been like for Jesus on that cross. That's the highlight for me, yeah.
Head along to the church on Bethlehem Road this Easter to enjoy the display. After the break, the National Jazz Fest. Welcome back. The National Jazz Festival is a New Zealand treasure. As one of the oldest jazz festivals in the world, we are delighted to present for the 53rd time a vibrant long weekend of the hottest talent from near and far. Rachel chats to director Bex Chambers ahead of the festival.
My background is I went to university in Manchester in England, and I came over here after my degree to kind of find out what festivals were like. Everyone said how festivals were awesome in New Zealand, I think because the weather's usually pretty good compared to England and there's not so much mud. And I just got into them that way really. It's been awesome. It's an awesome career to be in.
So Bex, what does your role involve?
As festival director, it kind of means you're just making sure everything runs smoothly. Festivals are usually non-for-profit organisations, therefore we don't have a lot of resources or a big team. So I'm basically directing everybody, like volunteers, performers, venue managers, and just making sure everything runs smoothly basically, yeah.
And what is the one thing that you absolutely love about your job?
One thing that I love about my role would be obviously when the festivals start and you see everybody coming along and having fun and smiling and dancing, and it kind of, all your hard work pays off when everyone's happy, yeah.
And how long does it take to plan the show?
Well, realistically, it kind of takes 10 months from start to finish. So as soon as one festival's over, you kind of start, well, you have to wrap that up and give lots of reports and feedback and have kind of strategic meetings to plan for the next one. And then you start the process of applying for funding and getting sponsorship, and then obviously getting the performers. So it does, it's obviously not full time the whole 10 months. It does obviously get busier at the end, but it does take about 10 months to pull it all together, yeah.
And who is behind the festival?
So basically the festival is presented by the Tauranga Jazz Society. So the Tauranga Jazz Society has been running for like 53 years, and they're the founders of the festival. And a society basically means that there's a core group of people that sit on the committee, and then there's members of the association, and they obviously have a say in what happens. So it's really good to kind of be driven by people who are really passionate about jazz. So yeah, the committee is kind of who I am answerable to.
Now, are there any challenges that you've come across, and how did you overcome them?
There's always lots of challenges. Probably the biggest challenge this time of year especially is when we've booked probably, I don't know, over 1,000 musicians to come to Tauranga over Easter, and obviously that's various different bands. And New Zealand being quite a small country, you end up with, say, for example, one drummer playing in 4 different bands, and that might not come about or be discovered till kind of a bit later on when everyone's confirmed who's playing where. So that's always a big challenge, is to try and work out how all these musicians can get from one place to the other comfortably and make sure everyone's happy and in the right place at the right time. Yeah.
And you are kicking off the festival with Divas with a Twist. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, well, Divas with a Twist is basically 3 vocalists vocalists. They're all New Zealand-based vocalists, and they're kind of sexy diva style music. So we do have a gala opening. So we're having a VIP function at Bay Court, and then we start with Divas with a Twist, which is just really lovely, easy listening jazz standards, and I think it's always really special when 3 vocalists kind of singing together. So yeah, I'm excited about that, really looking forward to it.
The 53rd National Jazz Festival is on this Easter weekend in Tauranga. For more information on the show and tickets, head online to jazz.org.nz. In our last story, Paula Southgate and Vaughan Payne discuss biodiversity in the Waikato and how they have incorporated that into the long-term plan.
Well, this is an area of work that I've always been quite passionate about, probably because I know that New Zealand's history around biodiversity management has not always been good, and neither has the Waikato. We've got room for improvement. But at this present point in time, we don't know what the biodiversity looks like across all parts of our region. In some parts of the region, we have very good information. In other parts of the region, we're not so sure. But what we do know is that we must make a proper effort at protecting what we have.
Yeah, so this fund really, as Paul said, is about ensuring that if we spend any money on biodiversity, which really is the strength of our region, that people are passionate about, not just council, but our community and community groups are really passionate about increasing biodiversity, which is, it might be as simple as planting a stream or a river, some dune care work, or major projects like Maunga Tautari to increase our natural heritage or enhance it. And we need to ensure that we understand that we're making progress. That's what the inventory is about. Often I read or hear that our biodiversity is declining, but we don't have good data to show that is the case. Often the data compares us back to 1840, and I don't think that's that relevant. We're never going to get back to 1840. So the inventory is about putting a line in the sand. It might be 1991, it might be 2001. Put a line in the sand about what's the state of our biodiversity at that point in time, so that we can show the progress that's been made, whether it's by council, whether it's by community groups, and really be able to pat them on the back and show the progress that we're making on biodiversity gains.
So it's going beyond the things that we know, because they're really obvious. The Maui dolphin, everybody in the Waikato understands that that's an endangered species, and we all care and are concerned about that. But there are other things that we know less about. We know that wetlands are diminishing, but there are all sorts of critters out there and all sorts of plants that we have no understanding about what's happening to them, and we should, because Vaughan's quite right, in order to improve we need to know where we're at.
Submissions are still open for public feedback. Visit the council website for more information. Thank you for watching Central News Tonight. We do post everything online on our website, tvcentral.co.nz, and we also like to keep in touch with our viewers on Facebook. Don't forget to like us. If you think you might have a story for us, email news@tvcentral.co.nz. We would always love to hear from you. I will be back next week. Have a lovely Easter break, stay safe, and don't eat too much chocolate. My name is Amanda Harper. Paul Marie.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.